Hey, this is Mariela from The Functional Company. Alright, so I want to tell you a story that I heard in a recent interview with Brit Marling. If you don't know Brit Marling, she is one of the creators of the OA, which is a very interesting, very popular series on Netflix. And so I just think she's one of my favorite human beings. I love her personal viewpoint of life and how she articulates things. So before she was in Hollywood, she actually studied economics in college, and then she went on to work for Goldman Sachs. And there was a point in time when she was actually having to work for two companies that were basically IPOing at the same time. They were going public. And so she had a lot of work. There was a period of time where she was like, I had to work no matter what. And even if I got sick, I had to work. I just had no time off at all. And I really was not enjoying my work. Like, I did not imagine that that's what my life was gonna look like. And so she was working so much, she was so stressed, and she was like, the thing is that I looked at that and I did it because it seemed like the safer thing to do. And you know, my mom, I think her mom might have been in economics or something like that. It was kind of like a little bit more of the safe route, the secure route. She's like, I knew how much money I was gonna make in 1 year, in 2 years, in 5 years, etc. So I could look at that whole life and it looked like that. But sometimes I would come home and I would just cry spontaneously because I was so sad. So I remember sharing this with someone. They said I should go talk to somebody. And so then she ended up going to talk to, I think it was a psychiatrist, because they recommended, I think it was Paxil, some kind of an antidepressant. So she says, I remember going to fill the prescription and then I put it by my bedside. And she would come home and look at the prescription and she'd say, there's just something wrong if, like, I'm not happy with my life, with something's not right. But what's being recommended to me is to take this pill to simply make my life more palatable, you know, just to do the job. Like, somehow if I numb myself, then I won't have these sad emotions. But I feel like I was just heartbroken, you know, like there was something that just wasn't right in my life. And I just couldn't bring myself to take that pill, those pills. So she said around the same time, a couple of my friends came from out of town. They were gonna do this 48-hour gig where they were shooting a film in 48 hours to get this topic, etc. And they're like, are you in? So I shouldn't have done it, but I did it. I didn't sleep at all for 48 hours. I had the best time of my life. And at that point, that's when I knew that I had to change. It wasn't even like I felt like I had a decision. It was very obvious. Like, I could go down this path and it's all set out for me. And there's something that I understand that people want safety. There's something about that feels good, but I just couldn't bring myself to do it because I was just so sad. It was completely out of anything I could imagine myself doing for the rest of my life, just for a secure future. Or I could do this, where I could create and I could be happy, and I knew that it was fulfilling, but I was walking on a tightrope. Like, I didn't know, you know, if I was gonna make any money doing that or anything at all. But she was like, I just didn't feel like it was a choice. At that point, it was a very obvious thing for me that I had to change what I was doing with my life. So I'll link the interview in the description. But the reason I want to share that with you is, and this is my own personal opinion, but you know, there's a complete overprescription of medications nowadays. And while, you know, every case is different, I personally, from my personal viewpoint, I feel like these things are just getting dished out like candy. And anytime that we have some negative emotion, whether it's grief, sadness, you know, anxiety, some kind of emotion that's uncomfortable, I wouldn't even say negative, but just uncomfortable in our existence in life, the suggestion is, here, take this pill so it just kind of quiets it out. And you know, my viewpoint is, I like to get to the root of things so they can actually vanish. I don't want to just cover up something so that I can just go on with my life, because I'm not getting to the root of the issue. You know, what is making me anxious? Like, what is it about life that's so uncomfortable? Or what is making me sad? Or what am I grieving? What is it about life that I actually need to handle? And find tools in life to help me handle those situations once and for all. That's gonna help me expand into the future. But I think getting into this idea where we have to just take a pill to fix a problem, it's like wishful thinking. I mean, I really wish that it could be that simple, that you could just take a pill and it would be all fine. But you know, what I've noticed is taking a pill isn't even really solving a problem. It's solving a momentary sensation in the body, but the problem in life is still there. So maybe you learn to ignore it, maybe you learn to be numb to it, but it's still there. And over time, it breaks down relationships and it breaks down our internal sense of happiness and peace. So anyway, I just wanted to share that story because I just found it so amazing that she had such an awareness of the difference. You know, it's like, this pill isn't gonna fix my real problem. It's a more existential situation. It's a purpose thing. It's a day-to-day, what am I doing with my life? That sort of reflection, that sort of awareness is something that I think is very valuable to society. And the creativeness that she has as a person is incredible. So imagine if she would be taking all of these pills that would just be numbing her sensations. Like, what would happen to her creativity? I mean, I think it's amazing that she was like, no, that's not the actual problem, and that pill's not going to solve my problem. You know, I really appreciate her for it. I admire her for it. And I just want to share that story just as a little, you know, food for thought, to find, you know, hopefully find real solutions to the things that we're dealing with. And yeah, that's all I want to share this time around. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'll see you next time.